Here we go. I guess we're going to start with these fan questions that people have sent in. So, all right, are you ready?
My hands are up. I give.
All right, what about Waylon made you love him the most? P.S. I am his biggest fan and I love you too. This is from Cynthia from Pineville, Missouri.
I love the way he walked. He walked like he was going someplace. And I loved his West Texas delay and his Texas accent. And I loved his brains. That's the
best.
Yeah. Just the way he walked, the way he carried himself.
Yeah.
The man he was.
He was a man on a mission.
Yeah. Right.
Okay, this is from Valerie from San Mateo, California. And it says, Jessi, how has Jesus met you during this time of waiting? And it says, thank you, Valerie.
How has he met me?
Yeah.
He's met me in several different ways. He's visited me supernaturally. He's been there when I knelt down at the end of myself and cried for mercy. And he's, the Spirit rises up in you as you seek the divine, as you know. It rises up in you with answers. And most of them are so full of love and mercy.
Oh, that's
a lot of mercy. Yeah.
That's a good question, Valerie. Eric from Eagle River, Arkansas says, I love your music. Let's see. Sharon from I can't even say that one. From Texas, Sharon from Texas says, how did you and Waylon meet, and when did you realize he was the one for you?
Actually, when I was married to Dwayne Eddy, Dwayne was publishing, and he had just fallen in love with Waylon's style, and he brought a record over just to satisfy you. He says, I want to show you what I'm talking about, because he taught all of his musicians what to play, and that really struck Dwayne. So Dwayne wanted to pitch a song of mine to Waylon, and Waylon was doing a session, and I thought, we can't walk into this session, but
you said he was cutting Norwegian Wood,
yes,
right, by the Beatles?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, what a great record that is.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's how we met.
And you went in, what was the first song that you sang together?
I wrote a song called Living Proof.
Yeah.
Of what two, can do to each other. I can't quote you the lyrics right now.
That's awesome. I love how, didn't he bring in like a crate or something, and you stood up on it?
Yes, I was short.
Because you were so short.
I was short, and I kind of more like a laser beam voice. Yeah. He's that wonderful deep baritone, so they had to move me over because it would sound louder in the studio than him.
Louder than him.
I'm little, but I'm loud.
I feel you. Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. Virginia from Dry Folk, Virginia. I guess that her name is Virginia, and she's also from Virginia. She has no question, just a comment. She says, I wanted you to know that Waylon was the only celebrity that had me in tears when he passed away, and I named my daughter after his song, Amanda. May God continue to bless you and your family.
Oh,
that's really beautiful.
Nice. It's amazing on the song Amanda, although it was written by Bob McDill. Every night, and Waylon never did understand why every night the crowd stood up on that song. And he says, I don't get it, but perhaps it was just certainly a man's way of saying my woman, is the light of my life.
That's a beautiful song.
Yeah, it was beautiful.
That's great. Let's see. Todd from Florida says, obviously I have not read your book yet. Which chapters or parts of it were the hardest to get through, talking and writing about, and at the same time, which were the most fun and cherished to talk about?
Well, I love to talk about Waylon, but at the same time, there's silence on the other end that wouldn't be there. So it's all pretty emotional. I laughed, I cried through parts of it, but David Ritz, the way he handled me, made it work. And I think I especially love talking about my mother because it was a desire of my heart years ago that the world would know her, and I found no way. And David was very intuitive, and he said, I think this book is about your mother.
Yeah.
I thought, isn't that awesome? And about your songs. You know?
I love how it starts with the story of, of your parents and how your mother found her faith and everything that they went through, and the story of the men coming to pray at your house. So it's really moving.
I know my brother knew that part of it. We had to call my brother in certain parts that I hadn't heard exactly how it happened, but I knew that she had tuberculosis. She was healed of God, and then studied for the ministry in the 30s when I didn't know any other woman at that time.
Right, yeah.
That was doing that, but she felt the call, and she followed it all of her life.
She was from Indiana.
Indiana,
yeah, that's so cool.
You did good, girl.
I did read. I read the entire book. I was really
It's
excited.
hard to remember the day after coming in a 5-week tour. This girl has come in from working. She's a worker.
Happy to have something to read out on the road.
Well, I appreciate that.
Let's see, what is next? We have Rusty from Amarillo, Texas. Says, of all the songs you have written, what is your favorite and why? That's a good question.
Yeah. Oh, dear. I love this song called Oh Will, Who Made It Rain Last Night. To me, it's like a bit like a movie because she's questioning him. It's this character, and it's this man who, you had such an impact on my life, and I almost walked out my door. And anyway, it's just
Beautiful.
I think it's just a dreamy story.
Yeah.
I dreamed up.
That's awesome. It came to you in your sleep?
No, but
Yeah.
I dreamed it up. I made it up, but I like it.
That's awesome. Let's see. Oh, yeah, what else? Let's see. Take a break. Okay.
Yeah, I've never done this before. I have no idea what we're doing.
It's the blind leading the blind here because
You at least had a little experience, but we're just playing it by ear.
While you're signing things, if you could sign, I brought
Oh my gosh.
this record of yours.
Are you believing this?
It's been on my piano for at least 5 years.
Well, you know what was interesting about this is when I went in to do radio in those days. That's how you broke the record. Go in to do radio. Rodeo.
I've tried to do some radio myself. It was a little painful.
It is like a rodeo. But anyway, I'd go in and the guys would say, oh, I thought you were a lot taller. What are you going to say when you're standing there? And they say that to you. I said, I don't know what to say. I don't know what to tell you, But I guess they shot from the angle or something.
Yeah,
they thought I looked.
Too.
Do you want it in silver or black or what do you want? Blue?
Maybe try some silver.
Yeah, that
be
might
really
work.
pretty.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks so much.
I'm really proud of you, Margo.
you're too
I'm
kind.
really proud of you for just kicking. You know what? And staying with it, and you're terrific.
It's
and
such an honor to meet you.
Oh gosh.
This is the first time we've met here.
I know,
so
it's
this is
great.
cool. And oh well, I might as well have you sign my book too.
Okay. Sure. That's what we're here for.
So much.
And I'm happy
This
to
will-
sign it for anybody who wants it.
Yes. Well, when I opened this up, my mom brought it to me. We were staying in a cabin in East Tennessee, and she, showed it to me in the mail. I said, when you come to visit me, bring that book because I want to read it. And when I opened up the first page and I saw the dedication to Waylon, I just started crying.
Oh,
It
dear.
was just really sweet. And I
Well,
read
he
his
did
book a
that
while
for me,
ago.
and that's the
Yes.
least I could do for him because he made, we were together half of my life.
So he was such a support of what you
So
did.
supportive,
And
such
likewise,
a
you were.
catalyst, I mean, we just had a great thing going, and I look forward to seeing him,
Yeah.
It's that simple, but I do get a little upset that he went on.
Yeah, I
But
bet you
at the
miss him
same
so
time,
much.
I'm just glad he didn't suffer, and he made such a great mark for the good,
Oh, yeah.
Once he
definitely-
turned his life, he never changed.
Yeah.
He was everything he seemed to be.
Really
you know?
inspiring to read how he overcame all the things he was challenged with. He seemed like
I know.
very
What a
strong
man! What a man! Yeah.
Okay, should I go back to some questions now, y'all? Should I play a game? Okay, sure. This one? Okay. 22 questions in 2 minutes. We'll see if we can keep it under 2 minutes.
Okay.
I don't know. Let's see, the first question is, who inspires you the most?
Who inspired me, like early maybe? Is that it? Or
Yeah, I know. I don't know what.
Well, you know, of course, Waylon inspired me the most
Yeah.
overall in my life. I just always was interested in music and the piano, and I didn't have a whole lot of contact with a lot of the great artists out there. I just started
you were
doing
self-taught on the
Yes.
piano? Just
Yes,
to play?
I took lessons.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah. you
And
were
then I
writing
studied
lessons.
music theory. I was in music theory. I
awesome.
did, but I always would go back
Yeah.
to the chords I knew. you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. Let's see. Who would you like to trade places with if you could? I have a feeling you're going to say nobody.
That's right. I wouldn't trade places with anybody.
Right?
I
Why
wouldn't.
would you want
No,
to?
why would
You're
you want
Jessi
to?
Colter.
Well, beside that, we all have a path,
Yeah.
and that we're to walk, and paying attention to that and doing that is the most important thing, I think.
Inspiring.
Yeah.
Let's see. Who is one fictional character you would love to date?
Well, you know, I never had this type man in my life, but Gregory Peck in To Kill a Mockingbird. Now, he
like
isn't
that.
my type at all,
Yeah.
but wouldn't that be interesting,
That would
to,
be
to
interesting.
know
Yeah.
a character
Oh, that's
like
a good
that?
answer. Okay, who makes you laugh the most?
Shooter, Maureen,
Yeah.
people who are really close to me and
Yeah.
say and do things that are off the wall.
Yeah. Let's see. Number 5. Oh, if I could answer this question, it would be fun. Who is the most unexpected person in your phone? You just say the day you texted me, that was really cool. I said, "You'll never believe this. Jessi Colter just
I
texted
loved
me."
having your number, and you're in my contacts.
Yeah.
Jeremy Tepper of Sirius helped
Oh,
me
that's great.
find you.
I
That
owe
was,
Jeremy a lot.
yeah, that was awesome. But
Yeah, who's
I think it might be Bob Dylan. Could we call him? I don't think he's going to answer.
Probably not. Yeah, that's so crazy. You have Bob Dylan's phone number. My goodness. Okay. Who is one person you trust the most?
I trust Shooter. You know,
Yeah. Oh,
and I learned
mother
to
and his
really
sons.
trust Waylon.
Yeah.
And it was a prayer that he have the best of both of us. You know,
Yeah.
and so
That's awesome.
he's my guy.
See, who is your favorite musician of all times?
I hate to be repetitive, but it'll have to be Dylan. His foreknowing what people are not going to like,
Yeah.
and him choosing to do that, and like his Slow Train Coming, I've worn that
Oh,
album out
I
3
know.
times.
So good.
And I recently got to talk with him and tell him that that was my very favorite. And he said, you know, it is mine too, but nobody ever brings it up.
That's awesome.
And he wrote
He's my
some-
favorite too.
Really?
Yeah, he is.
Oh gosh, isn't that cool?
I love what Waylon's quote about Bob Dylan, and they were talking about, you know, you guys getting labeled as outlaws, and that he said, you know, when Bob said to live outside the law, you must be honest, and John Wesley Harding, that he related to that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
You know, another thing he said that I just love that I really think speaks of his faith, it speaks of mine, to strengthen the things that remain. You know, because what's going to remain in us is our spirit and our eternal self, identity.
Mm-hmm.
And he's quite an evangelist in his own way,
Oh, that's beautiful.
and I like him.
Let's see. What is one thing that you need to have in your refrigerator at all times?
I really like kefir.
Oh yeah,
I like that.
that's the secret. That's the fountain of youth. You heard it here.
That's one of my favorite things to have.
So good.
I like cheeses, fine cheeses.
Yeah.
I have juices.
Yeah.
There's a few things. Lettuce.
Yeah.
A lot of lettuce.
keep it healthy.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is your middle name?
Joan.
Joan. Beautiful.
I don't know how I got that.
Yeah, I think probably. Do you think a lot of people know that your real name isn't Jessi?
I don't know. If they've read anything about me,
Yeah,
they
yeah.
may.
Miriam. It's
Miriam
beautiful.
is my name.
Yeah, it's beautiful. I like both names. Let's see. What do you like to do in your spare time?
Let's see. I like to walk my dog.
Yeah.
Down the horse ranch roads where I live, and the beauty of nature, to be out in it, is awesome. You know, I work at my piano. I listen when I'm driving my Raptor. Now I've just got this Mercedes SUV. I gave Shooter my Raptor. I love listening. I love using my CDs. I still use CDs.
Yeah, yeah.
And
Nothing like getting in the car and listening to music.
no,
That's
I like to dance.
Yeah.
I like to two-step. And I love people, friends,
Yeah.
you know. What else do I like to do?
You should go out two-stepping.
Anything that comes up.
Yeah.
I'm interested to learn
That's
how to
great.
do things that I'm not good at. I've done fly fishing, skiing, you know, all that.
fun.
It's not something I do regularly. I do more like hiking,
Yeah, yeah.
the beautiful mountains in
That's
Arizona.
awesome.
Yeah.
Let's see. What is the weirdest thing that anyone has ever said to you?
It actually happened this morning
Oh,
because
no.
Webster Younts, who is the editor of my book, has a 3-year-old, and I was asking him about it, and he was going to show me a video because she loves my new album, the
Oh,
Psalms album.
yes.
He said I said, she does?
So good.
And he says she dances to it. I says, really? Because it really doesn't have much of a rhythm. It's more floaty.
Free float, yeah.
Yeah. And he said, she sent a message to you. He said, I asked her, do you want to send a message to Jessi? And she said, yes. And he says, what is it? And he said, tickle feet. And I thought, you know, isn't that darling from a 3-year-old?
Tickle feet.
You know, maybe you should just tickle your feet sometimes and
so
get
cute.
less serious.
Yeah, children are great because
I
they
know.
live in the moment.
I know it
really-
sounds crazy, but I thought that was one of the weirdest I've
That
ever
is
received.
very weird and cute.
Yeah.
Let's see. What item would you buy to get your hands on if it went up for auction?
Let me think a minute on that. What would I like to get my hands on if it went up for auction? Oh gosh.
Tough one.
Yeah, because I just bought Bob Dylan's a beautiful painting that he had in the Halcyon in London gallery. He's done quite a bit
Is
of
it a
art.
painting that he did?
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
and he also did a great
I love
book.
his metal
Work.
sculptures. and
That's
yeah.
a little crazy. I
Well,
guess it's true,
so
but it's
welded.
hard to believe.
Yeah.
But the book that he did called The Beaten Path, I would like his notes maybe. His notes, not the people with the book company who added things to
Right.
explain his paintings. That
Yeah.
could be interesting, his original notes on
Yeah.
there, because it's called The Beaten Path, and it actually has the road that I can get to very easily, Highway 87 going down. It's the painting on the front is that road. He spent time in Arizona. And the road, you know, just the image of the road was always part of my early drawings. And, you know, it just says what's around the corner, what's down there.
That's
You know,
awesome.
I
Yeah.
might like to see what he really would have said
For
about
yeah.
his paintings.
Oh, that's
I'd
amazing.
like that. Yeah.
That's a great thing to ask for. What was the last gift that you gave?
The last gift that I gave, let's see, I've been throwing dinners for my girlfriends who had birthdays. I gave a very important bracelet to me to a friend to use. That I love that bracelet. There's an Indian tradition that in a giveaway party you take something that's really precious to you and you give it, and it should hurt to
Yeah.
give. And it's very interesting how the person picking up that gift correlates with why you gave it. I'll give you, for instance, the crickets of Buddy Holly. their wives, and we were great friends. And I had this party, and I was going to try this. And I had this book. Shooter was like 7 or 8. And it was the album covers in the 60s. And there was a lot of nakedness on these album covers, weirdness, lewdness. And I thought, you know, I want this book out of the house, okay? I wasn't being prudent. I just thought, I just don't want him looking at this and trying to figure out what this is. And so Louise Curtis, who was Sonny Curtis, Curtis's wife, the lead singer for the Crickets, came, and she asked for that book. She reached for that book. And so I said, why did you reach for that book, Louise? And she says, because the kids are gone, Sarah, her daughter, they're gone, and she says, we need something a little stimulating around the house. Something with a little nakedness in it. Now, figure it out.
There you go.
This happens. This is the best way to give something. But, you know, I give gifts all the time, and I don't even remember exactly
well, I was
what
so
it
happy
was.
to get your book in the mail. That was the best gift.
Thanks.
Let's see, what else? Where did I go here? Oh, this is an interesting one. What is your worst habit?
My worst habit is procrastinating.
It's easy to do.
Yeah, and lack of organization. Maureen Rafferty is there to prod me on. Sarah was there with his book. It's like, you know, give me a question, I'll answer it maybe in about 5 days.
Yeah, I'm
Pause,
kind of
pause.
the same way.
I know it. It's terrible. I
That's
don't
why
like it,
it's-
but I'm
yeah.
that way. Yeah.
Let's see, there's just a few more. What cause is dear to your heart?
Nikki Mitchell worked with us for 25 years, worked with Waylon, and then after he made his crossing, she was great. She managed our office, and she was quite a courageous human being, and a pilot who did a marvelous expedition to Russia to honor the women aviators there.
Wow.
She's a heroine in Russia, and she and Rhonda Miles. Well, she died of pancreatic cancer, and her foundation, Nikki Mitchell Foundation, we've been raising funds. Jamie Johnson's involved, and a lot of other people,
beautiful.
good people. Me, Shooter and Jamie have done the beginning shows to celebrate her and research into early detection, because
Yeah.
it's one of those things they can't detect very well early.
Until it's too late. That's, yeah.
Right, so Nikki Mitchell Foundation
that's-
for pancreatic
that's
cancer is my favorite.
Let's see, what was the last movie you saw in the theater?
I believe it was Jackie.
I've been wanting
I
to see
believe it
that. Did you
was.
enjoy it?
I did. I kind of wish that had gone on after his death to talk about her life
Yeah.
as it continued, but I thought it was well done, and because I was in London when I was watching TV and his death occurred,
Yeah.
you know, I wanted to see it.
Oh, I know.
I think it was well done.
Read about when. It seems like
Right,
that, you know,
right.
that's something that everybody talks
I
about. I just
know.
read the Guy Clark book. He talked about that too. That's such a.
Really? It was a part of our generation,
Yeah,
probably,
yeah, definitely.
seeing that happen, yeah.
Very sad. Let's see. What is one skill that you wish you had? You can do it all, right?
I wish I were a little better with the internet.
That's okay. That's fine.
Yeah,
These people.
and sense of direction,
Yeah, I don't have
I
a good
have to-
sense of direction either.
I have to either have a cowboy or the GPS.
Yeah. Can't follow
To
the
lead me
stars,
around.
right?
Really. It must be
I'm
part
terrible
of
at directions. I
must
really
be part
am.
of our creativity.
Yeah, we're just too distracted with other things. Do you have any hidden talents?
Maybe if somebody found one, they could tell me about it. I haven't found too many hidden talents.
All
of
your
mine.
talents are exposed.
I don't
right?
know. I don't know. Really, I have much.
Let's see. Where do you want to go that you have never been?
You know, Maureen and I were talking the other day. I think I'd like to go to Tel Aviv. I've been to Jerusalem. I've been to Israel. Loved it. Waylon took me there
That's amazing.
for a birthday, and he was definitely a political scholar. He really studied politics.
Really?
Yeah, but he wasn't, you know, there was trouble, it seemed, at that point.
Yeah.
But there's nothing like Israel.
Oh, that's
And this is Passover today.
Yeah, yeah.
And there's nothing like it. If you know anything about the Bible, you really can trace things that you've had as images in your mind before we had all the ability to visually study things. You had the Bible, and it makes everything very real, but beside that, you just have a feeling of being at home. I can't describe it. I felt safer there than I did at Kinko's at 11 o'clock at night. Really, I did. It was great. It was great. Tel Aviv, though, I'd like to see. I've never seen Tel
Nice.
Aviv.
Oh, that sounds beautiful.
Yeah.
Okay, just two more. How do you like your coffee?
I like it pretty sweet
Yeah.
and a little lighter
Yeah.
to look at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw you pour a little water in there. It
Yeah.
was hot when we started. And all right, here's the last question. How do you stay so fit? And I want to know too,
Oh gosh.
because I'm just sitting in a
Like,
van all day.
Waylon used to say, you ought to see it from in here. But I don't know, you just have to. I mean, you know, once you hit 40, if you don't exercise, you're
Yeah.
kidding yourself. And I train.
I thought it happened at 30.
Yeah, right. Well, that's true.
Yeah. You train,
yeah.
you work out.
Oh
every
yeah, I
day?
train.
Yeah.
Not every day. I do stretches one day. I do.
Go hiking. And
Yeah,
stuff.
I hike.
Yeah.
I do 2 to 3 miles
That's
on
great.
an average
Yeah.
every day with my dog.
That's awesome. Where do you like to hike at? Do you have a lot of all the state
There's
parks and
Pinnacle
stuff?
Peak is right next to me.
Nice.
Beautiful mountain. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Done a mountain they used to call Squaw Peak. It's a great mountain. I haven't done Mount Lemon, which is, I don't know, 15,000 feet. And
Oh my goodness.
haven't done that. I don't think I will.
That's
You know.
a little too much.
By the time I get through walking my dog, I have to save hiking for other
Yeah.
days. But
Oh, that's beautiful.
yeah, I don't know. Just stay fit, take good supplements. Don't go to the doctor too often.
Yeah, that's good advice.
The old timers say once you go to the doctor, you go downhill.
Yeah. Don't tell me what's wrong.
No, it's wonderful. Our medical,
Yeah.
and certainly out in Arizona and Mayo's great hospital.
Yeah.
If you need them,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, that's awesome. I just
keep your attitude, attitude
positive
positive
thinking,
and
yeah.
hopeful.
Yeah.
As best you can.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
that's good advice. Stress doesn't help, that's for sure.
No.
Okay, let's see. Where were we at here? Did Waylon really? Oh, this is from Fred in Oklahoma, and he says, "Did Waylon really call Willie a little redheaded SOB the first time they played in Armadillo?"
You know, I don't remember that quote exactly. If it came out of his book, he said it. He just told me, he says, I don't know what's going on down here. You know, Willie said, I found something, come on down here. And Waylon didn't quite know what to think about it at first, because the country audiences for Waylon were always very diverse. There was
Right.
doctor, lawyer, hippies,
Yeah,
cowboys, whatever.
Bikers.
Yeah, it was all, But basically they were reserved. Georgia was the only state that would just hoop and holler. It just didn't happen. So when the kids were animated and the audience, Waylon loved it, but it was a surprise.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if he said that to Willie. I didn't hear him say that, but if he said it in his book, it's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Dan from Baton Rouge, Louisiana says he doesn't have a question. I just miss Waylon.
Oh.
That you can relate to.
Tell me
that.
about it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ronald from Mulberry, Florida says, how have you been doing, and are you releasing any new music?
I have been doing well. I've been very busy with this book and writing it. It's been over a 2.5-year span. The Psalms album has
Yes.
been a challenge and a joy, and so I've been pretty hunkered down
Yeah.
for the last couple
I
of
can
years.
imagine putting out a book and a record at the same time.
And as far as writing, right now I'm a little slow on writing.
Mm-hmm. It
But-
comes in waves,
Yes,
right?
it does. Yeah, it does.
Yeah.
And I do have new stuff. In fact, Julie Roberts, that we saw in the lobby, will be putting out a record of a song that I wrote called "I Think You Know," and it's a love song. That's what I like.
Well, I've been wanting to cover this song that you did, and it Maybe You Should Have Been Listening When I Say Goodbye.
Oh, really?
I love that one. And
that was Waylon's favorite song.
Was
of
it?
Mine. Yes.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, he loved the songs I wrote, of course, but
it's
the
got
ones
such
that
a great melody and such a
Isn't
clever
it?
line. I really love it.
I know, he
The-
loved that song.
My guitar player showed it to me and he goes, I think you should sing this.
You would sound great singing that.
I need to do it.
I would love
need
you
to work
singing
it up.
anything
Oh, you're too
that
kind.
we did.
Let's see, what else? Question from Facebook. Why now did you decide to write this book?
I have to say that I think this whole thing has been touched by the supernatural because David Ritz saying to me, I'd like to write your story along the line of your spiritual journey, is the only key that would have turned me, because Waylon wrote a great book. He and Lenny Kay wrote a fantastic book, and it really opens up his challenge with the music business and his life. And I loved it. So I had no desire to write.
And you were such a big part of it too.
I mean, he complimented me. He made me bigger, really, than I was, I think.
Aw,
But
I don't know about that.
But the spiritual journey interested me because why you make certain turns, as I know you have, at certain points in your life, determines where you're going, and that interested me because nobody had ever
talked about that before. I didn't.
Yes.
I didn't know.
yes.
I learned so much in this book about both of y'all and your family and your faith. It was so inspiring.
So it was David Ritz who inspired me to do it, and
Yeah,
he was
he
able.
reached out.
He was able to write it, and
Well,
then
he's
HarperCollins
Yeah.
was the right place for this book.
Yeah, definitely. Well, that's exciting. Let's see. Do you think there will be a movie about this, about the book, like Walk the Line?
I don't think there'll ever be anything like I Walk the Line. I love Johnny and June and his story, and he came from Arkansas. Waylon came from Texas, but they really had a brotherhood of raising.
Yeah.
There's something about those two that were more like brothers, and the way Johnny looked up to Waylon, the way Waylon loved Johnny.
Yeah.
So I don't think there'll ever be another movie like that. No.
Who would you want to play you if somebody was going to do it? Do you have any?
I don't know. It's really funny.
That's
We
hard.
were working on a special that just played on CMT, and you can buy it. The Outlaw.
Yes.
It's a great show.
I'm
Willie
dying to
asked
watch
me to
that.
partner with him, and I did, and a lot of great artists. And I had never looked Casey Musgraves in the face, but she came up to me, and she had a very simple kind of hairdo and so forth. And there was something about her face that reminded me of myself when I was in
totally see that.
maybe later 20s.
Yeah.
I was surprised.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking of a movie. I have no intentions of anything like that, but
Well, she could probably nail it.
yeah, but
Oh,
it seemed like she reminded me.
So since we started talking about Johnny, do you want to read the
yes.
piece from your book?
I would love to, and I've
you have
marked
it
it. I
marked?
think
Yeah.
this is the book, and these books are not very close to me. I have to leave
Okay.
the camera to get them.
I'll get it.
You don't have to do it.
And this
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Let's see. That's Jessi. I marked the page, and part of what happened is after June gave Waylon a party to celebrate his sobriety.
Sobriety, yeah. Did
And
you help throw the party?
well, June gave Waylon a party, and Johnny came to me and said, Jessi, would you give me a party? Would you give me a sobriety party? Because they both were kind of coming there at the same time. And I said, sure, Johnny. So Maureen and I organized 19, more like the 50s chicken on the lawn type party where everybody came dressed in the 50s.
Yeah.
And we had a party. And this letter that he wrote me, I had forgotten about. This was, 25 years ago or more now, more than that. I can't count years.
Yeah.
That's another thing I can't do. But anyway, so this came in this box. I was going through this box, and I found this handwritten letter, and I wish that I could have photographed it handwritten.
I know. And put it in
But
there.
they decided that wasn't necessary for some reason. But anyway, so he wrote this letter to me, and I was so surprised when I found it years later. But it said, "Dear Jessi, the newness of life, which Waylon and I are experiencing, was promised us in Romans 8:13. If you live by the flesh, you shall die. But if through the Spirit you mortify the deeds of the body, you shall live." Mortify means to make dead. For us and our death-dealing habits, there had to be death. He who said, "I am the way, the truth, and the life," has triumphed in that through your prayers and all our perseverance. We have made dead the old man in us, and now we have become heirs to the promise of life through him. I ask you to take note of where Waylon and I are. We are milk-fed babies in the Spirit. Even with my background, and this being my second time around, I'm in no higher spiritual plane than Waylon. Possibly not as high, because he is in the joy of first discovery of spiritual truths. I thank you for your prayers, but I ask you to continue to pray along with dulce and discretion. For in God's battles, even as in the U.S. Marines, discretion is still the better part of valor. Pray for our wisdom and know that I hold you in highest esteem and love you as a sister in him. You have ministered to my spiritual needs as no man or woman has done in a long, long time. Last night your home was filled with overflowing with his bountiful love, and that it was directed at me makes me tremble. Thank you, and God bless you, your brother John. He had such really a way with words, but this was, I mean, straight spiritual talk.
That's
and,
beautiful.
I was delighted to have found it. You know, his,
really nice.
Yeah, his writing was.
It's nice to hear you read it too.
His writing was special, and what he wrote to Waylon would always be an old language kind of thing.
Yeah.
They had Will Carlton was a writer they both loved, and Johnny was truly Waylon's brother.
No, that's beautiful to hear. Mm-hmm. Let's see. What do you think about the current state of the country music industry?
Well, I think it's at a point, you know, it's crossed over the old territory, and it's at a point that I think it's ready for change. I think it's ready for change. I think you're going to be right in the middle of it, because there's so much, so long, and then it has to change.
Right.
And there's been a great overflow, you know. It almost looks like everybody can sing and everybody looks great, and so it kind of makes it common.
Right.
You know, although there's some great artists and great talent out there, I think it's about to take, and has begun to take, a turn where people, and I love the rockers who do such research and look into, you know, even as Graham Parson looked into what the Rolling Stones was doing, listened to the Everlys. I think what's going to evolve now is going to be maybe more original. Yeah. You know? And sticking with.
That's a good prediction.
Sticking with and being maybe somebody who they don't like too well around here sets you up.
Hear that?
Good girl. Sets you up, you know, for a win. So I think it's been good, but I think it's going to turn a stronger corner.
Yeah.
I really do.
That's wise.
Yeah.
What is your happiest memory of you and Waylon?
Oh gosh, there were so many. But I remember when I first wrote "Here I Am, Here I'll Stay," and that gooey feeling that you're in the first 3 months. They say that you couldn't stand to live in that feeling.
Yeah.
It's so amazing. Falling in love, being in love, you know. And I remember
butterflies.
Yeah, and I wrote that song as he was walking back to his car. We were staying at my sister's place, and he walked back to his car. He had taken me there and was leaving, and I just wrote "Here I Am, Here I'll Stay." You know, that's gorgeous. I remember that. Yeah.
Who is the most interesting person you've ever met?
Well, Waylon.
Yeah.
Waylon.
That's great.
And Shooter's very interesting because there's that difference, you know. And he's musically so creative, and he, you know, he's going to strike the right chord. For him.
He's awesome. Let's see. Having lived through so many tumultuous times, are you happy in the world we live in 2017?
Yes, because I cannot believe the surprises that come your way. you know, at every phase and every age, people talk about age. I don't really know about age because I think you actually are a mindset. I think you're as a child, you're going to take something that is strongest in you, and it's going to always be with you. And for me, I know it was the 7 to 8 years where it was like wonder to me. You know, I don't care to analyze or to draw all the lines around it.
Right.
I just care to experience it and see where it takes me.
Yeah, and your parents were both such explorers too. And I love hearing about how they were, you know, they were different but similar in that way that they were always searching.
Right.
Yeah.
For new adventures.
That keeps you young.
Yes.
It really does.
Absolutely.
What is the philosophy behind choosing a stage name? I think both your stage name and your birth name are very beautiful.
Thank you. Well, I was in a phase of life that I was exploring and discounting everything I'd been taught. I'd come to Nashville with Waylon, and Chet Atkins wanted to cut an album with he and Waylon. They called it A Country Star Is Born. And he was talking to me, and you know, our divorce wasn't final. My divorce with Dwayne. So my name was Miriam Eddy. It had been Miriam Johnson. And I says, I don't know if either one of those names sound good for, you know, recording. And he says, well, is there a family name that, you know, and I'd heard my father talk about Jessi Colter, who had been he didn't like him. He was a chief counterfeiter for Jesse James, was the rumor. And when I took the name, he didn't like it. He says, this is a man's name. And I don't regret it because Waylon liked it. He liked to call me Jessi. Miriam was a little...
He said it was too formal. I liked how he said he wanted to call you Runt.
He did call me Runt. That's exactly what he did. And I let him.
Oh, we have... So they've just told me that there's Erin from Michigan, and she wants to talk to you. She's on the phone here.
Okay.
Hi, it's Erin from Michigan. I was just wondering, what is the best and the worst process about writing a book?
Well, the best is to have a really great writer, which David Ritz is celebrated and awarded for musical personalities. To have the right writer, because I'm not a writer of books, and I couldn't tell you how to do that. I know how to write a song, you know, at the piano, but I don't know how to write a book.
It seems so natural, though. It seemed like it was your, you know.
He was talking about
speaking.
Collaboration and how do you do collaboration, and he says I try to get to the soul, and I've been told by close people and close friends and family that they felt like it was me. So that's great. You can't really read how to do your, you know, I don't know. I don't have any answers for anybody else doing it, but the best part is that you have a great helper, and then the worst part is it's a little like death, where your life, I hear, passes before you, and as you relive your life, although you've got these triumphs, this great Indian prayer that Chief Dan George did in Little Big Man, and he says, thank you for my victories, thank you for my defeats. You know, thank you for my blindness in which I saw further. You know, you're the father of everything. It's like going through the heartbreaks, going through the illnesses, going through deaths. You know, you go through them as you're trying to create, to share. And that was the worst part. You know, but on the, when you finish, you really learn something.
Yeah, well, that's a beautiful prayer. Yeah. Thank you, Erin.
Thank you.
All right, let's see. Did you choose the cover image for the book? It's a great photo. I agree, it's so good.
I sent them, they had a few they were looking at, and I sent them a very casual picture of us sitting in our house that was located at Saxon Drive off Granny White.
Oh, yeah.
When we lived here before we could buy a house. And we were sitting there, and he's playing the guitar and probably showing me something.
Who snapped that photo?
You know, I don't know. The photographer on that.
That's beautiful.
I would have to look that up.
It's
I can't remember who it was.
It is very natural.
Yeah, it was just us sitting there. And the book company decided, and they have a lot of people they go through. to toss the title to, toss the picture to, the covering, and they were wonderful to show me what they were thinking and to ask my approval.
Yeah, that's great.
Which, and finally I said, well, maybe not. I had this compilation that said Outlaw Lady, and it kind of looks a little like the Wanted, but they ask a lot of people who know.
Yeah.
And so I said, you know what, you leave room for the artist here, and the book company's an artist at what they do.
That's great.
So,
who are your favorite country music singers right now?
You, Miranda.
Yeah.
And, I know personally Sturgill. I know Dave Cobb, who's cutting Chris Stapleton.
Yeah,
and he
Sturgill's
almost
great,
is
too.
like, to me, he's almost like Bob Seger.
Yeah.
Crossing all lines.
Yeah.
Chris Stapleton and his wife are great.
Yeah, they're so
people.
nice.
They are.
So friendly.
Yeah, and this special that you'll see on Waylon CMT, and be sure and buy
They were
it.
in that. Yeah.
It's celebrating Waylon's music.
Musgraves was in it, and it looks like a really cool
Allison,
special. Oh, I love
Allison.
her. She's very great.
I'm telling you what.
Yeah.
Isn't she like a dream kind of just happening,
She
and a
is.
storyteller,
Yeah.
I
I'm
love
excited
it.
about her new record too.
Oh, I haven't. Is it out?
I don't know if it's out yet, but I'd heard at least one song that she's.
I loved her on Raising Sand with Robert Plant. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And the song Through the Morning, Through the Night. She's singing it because she's such a great storyteller. It's a man talking, but the line where she says, I'd never kill a man. I thought, this is good. This is good to listen to when you're mad at one of them.
Yeah.
I'd never kill a man.
Okay, so it says.
Unless he deserved killing.
Then he had it coming. So I'll just ask you a couple more, and then we'll wrap up. What is your philosophy in life?
I don't know, except, go with God, stay attached to your spirit. That's what I love about the Psalms album, because it's so human, yet it calls you out. David would be so upset about things, but then he'd say, yet the King of old, working salvation in the midst of the earth. And, I'm with you, God. I mean, I know I'm being bad, but I'm with you. So
It's beautiful.
If you go with God and just believe the best.
Yeah.
Try to believe the best. And it can get hard, but try to believe the best, that God is for you and will lead you and help you, and great friends, great infrastructure around you, your husband,
That's important.
I hear, your mother, people that are helping you right now, and people that have helped me for years, Maureen Rafferty being one of them, my family. It's, stick with your roots, keep your roots in the ground, and let the tree grow,
Oh, that's great.
I think.
Okay, I'll do one more question here. What is on your bucket list this year? I mean, besides already putting out a book and a record.
We've been talking about where I might want to go, visit or travel to. I just heard a terrible story about the Viking cruise that went to Spain. They were totally robbed. They're full of gypsies over in Barcelona. So I don't know. I'll probably do some traveling. And, do anything with Bob Dylan.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's one thing. That's
a
one
great
important
answer.
thing for me. Yeah. But I don't know, and I'm going to have a very good mate. I've been promised that I will have. And of course, mine and Waylon's love and this tribute to him, and it will never change.
Yeah.
But
that's
it's another
gorgeous.
time in my life now.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you so much.
Thank you for coming.
Yes,
and helping
it is a
after
absolute
leaving the Luck
honor.
reunion.
It's such an honor. Everybody, go get this book. It's so good. I cried. I laughed, and probably going to read it again because it was that good. And her new record too. So thanks for tuning in.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.